Let's back up a little bit and go to your call. Let's go back. Tell me about your call.
That's interesting. I grew up Presbyterian. Oh, yes, I grew up a member of the Reformed Presbyterian Church, where we do the assurance of pardon, the forgiveness of sins, and all of that. Oh, my God. Yes, we sang every hymn and did every oratorio that was known. But then a friend of mine one day invited me to go to this Baptist church. I was singing with a Baptist choir, but you didn't have to be a member to sing on the choir. And I didn't sing on services. I sang when they went out. So he invited me, he said, come on, go up to this church I've been going to. He said, it's really good. I said, oh, okay, but I had no intention of going. So he called that Sunday morning. It was 1971, third Sunday in November. I didn't have caller ID, so I answered the phone. The phone was right under the bed. I had been out partying the night before. And he said, you said you were going to church today. Oh, God. My church services were only 1 hour. And going to this other church, I didn't know what to expect. I said, I was living at home with my parents, and I said, well, let me check, see if my mother wants to go. That was going to be my out. I said, Mama, you want to go to this church up the road Daryl told us about? She said, yeah, I think I want to go. Oh, Jesus, no, now I got to go. So I got up, got ready, and we rode up to New Shiloh. I had to hustle to find a parking space. There were no spaces. I said, what is this? Parked in an alley, I think. And then we went on in. Church was jam-packed. I'd never seen that many folk in a church in my life, ever. Not even on a movie. And they were everywhere, and the service was unbelievable. I sat there, little bougie dude from the ghetto with a college degree thinking he knew everything and a couple little Presbyterian hymns under his belt. But I'd never heard anybody preach in such a way that it was worth listening to, beyond the sanctified sense of the preacher. The music was arresting and the atmosphere was so unbelievable. I went back that Thursday for Thanksgiving Day service. I went back the first Sunday. I went back the second Sunday. Dr. Carter was preaching Repentance, the Key to Life, about John the Baptist in his Advent series. And in my mind, I heard him say, whether he said it out of his mouth or not, but in my spirit and in my mind, I have concluded that he said, no matter how good your life is, Jesus Christ can make it better. And I got up, didn't know anybody in that church, except the friend who had invited me, and walked, and I was sitting on the front row by then. I was really getting caught up. And I joined church. I joined that church, left my Presbyterian church and joined a church I knew nothing of, a Baptist church. And I listened to him for the next year or so and found the contradictions between my professional life and what he was preaching. I was working, my desire was to get a degree to work on and to solve problems of poverty and discrimination. But inherent in that was a belief that all of our problems were the result of racism and the history of our people. I had not fathomed the fact that some of them were our own. In my professional job, I had discovered we had some issues that the economy and education could not solve. And I felt God telling me, this is where you need to go. I remember going into a church. I was working in outstate in part of Maryland, and I was so conflicted. I walked down the street and I saw a Catholic church, and I went in the Catholic church. And I said, God, if you're calling me to preach, make those candles on the altar jump. You know, hey, you know, make them jump. And I sat perked up, waited for the candles to jump. And I heard a still small voice whisper in my ear saying, I'm not into candles. If you're gonna preach, you will say yes. And I said yes. Not knowing what it would entail, but knowing that I had to leave my graduate program, knowing that I had to leave my job and all those things, and not knowing where it would take me. But I went. And that's how it happened.